Good morning, Wall Street winners. It is Thursday, December the 19th, and wow, what a day we had yesterday. We saw the Fed make the announcement that was anticipated, announcing a 25 basis point rate cut and suggesting some more dovish outlook going forward, less interest rate cuts in 2025, more of a focus on continuing to curb inflation. Was really exactly what was anticipated out of the Fed, and yet the markets just fell off and started to collapse into the end of the trading session. Fortunately, it is green on the screen across the board this morning, and it looks like they're making a bit of a comeback. But boy, did they ever get hit hard yesterday! And it was an interesting turn of events there at the end of the day yesterday to watch things fall off. The Dow down 1,123 points, the S&P 500 dropping 178 points. That was massive. And then the NASDAQ off as well yesterday. We only have the futures up here right now, but it was off in the hundreds as well. So it is green on the screen heading into the pre-market at 8 minutes to 8. Crude is down slightly. We've got the VIX. The VIX shot up to 27 yesterday. We opened the day in our morning brief yesterday with the VIX, I believe, around 15 and jumped up to 27. It's now down almost 7 to just under 21. But what a rocky way to end a Wednesday. Anyway, everything fell off across the board. You can see it was pretty much red across the board. The only good news out of this is if you were holding any cash or dry powder, it's an excellent time to look at buying into some of the stocks that we've been talking about and recommending. Crude is off this morning, but only 16 cents. And it looks like, well, crude stocks got beaten up as well, or oil stocks. It looks like they're making a comeback this morning. All of technology, for the most part, was in the red and beat up huge. Some huge buying opportunities, though, this morning, if you do have some cash for Meta. And for, say, Google, as well as maybe TSM, some of the semis. Micron obviously had disastrous results yesterday. It was so disappointing. A company that was set to have its best reports in 3 years, it really came out and just made a mess of things. It did not capitalize on its position in the quarter. And with those poor announcements, it's off $13 going into the open, or down 12%. So we talked about the upside or downside being in the 10% range. And unfortunately, it put out a poor future forecast along with some less than exciting earnings and revenue, and it is now off significantly. The other one that I took a huge hit on yesterday, unfortunately, was Goldman. Goldman had been falling down into a range of 80. It dropped down into the 570s, but then when the market announcement came out and from the Fed, and then the Fed discussion took place at or news conference, press conference took place at 2:30, it just started to fall, and it just continued and continued and continued down to the 550s. So I think now that we're at this level, going into earnings in September, in January in the 2025 year, I think we're going to be well positioned for this stock to actually make some traction and regain. We're already seeing that it's up slightly. I mean, it's up $8 in the pre-market, so that's going to get it close to 560. But we're still $30 off of where we were yesterday. So we've got to see a bit of a climb back here in some of these, but that happens, and this is the market. So this is where it differentiates an investor who's been through this from someone who's not, and an investor who has confidence in what's going on. So although the market sold off due to some expected, oddly enough, news from the US Fed, it just really means that things were overpriced, and the market saw that there was a need for a correction. But mark my words, we're not in a bad economy. Well, we are in Canada. We're not in the US. And so, with the economy continuing to be strong going into the new year and into the next quarter, I don't anticipate that we're going to see a bull market in the next 2 to 3 months. So, not in the next quarter. Um, we'll have to see with the new administration and some of the changes that Trump puts in, what happens and what the ramifications are of those. Those changes will be newsworthy initially, but won't have instant ramifications. So it will be somewhat time delayed to see the results of those in the companies that are reporting. So we're not likely to see the impacts of those changes until quarter 2, probably better in quarter 3, to start really realizing what those changes have led to in terms of effects. Um, so I think we've got a very strong year coming up for the financial services sector. And on this sell-off, I think it's a pretty solid bet to get into some of these big names. Anyway, that's where we are today. I hope you didn't get hit too hard with Micron yesterday. I know I took a hit there. I took a hit with Goldman, but just stick to your guns and hold those investments. Hopefully, they're not leveraged. You're not on margin, and just hold them until they come back. It happens. It's a setback. It's frustrating. It can be cause anxiety, but it's just a normal part of the course of trading in the markets. So don't sell when it's dropped and coming back. Hold on to those investments and look for others if you do have some cash. Buy in today and take advantage of the low prices based on that decline yesterday. Good luck in your trades, and if you're liking these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. Days will get better. The markets do go up constantly, and they'll come back.